We've been learning about different kinds of values, numbers, strings, and images, and how to write expressions that operate on those values. In this video, we're going to look at something quite different. We're going to look at how to write constant definitions to give names to values so that we can use those values in different parts of the program. Constant definitions are more than just a convenience. We're going to see later in the course that they help us make programs that are easy for other people to read and easy for other people to change. And that those two properties, readability and changeability, are two of the most important properties a program can have. But for now, we're just going to focus on the mechanism of constant definitions so that you can learn how to write a constant definition to give names to a value that you use in other parts of the program. So let's imagine that we're working on a program in which there's a simple interactive game running in a window. One thing we might want to do is give names to the width and height of the window. And the way we do that is we write open paren, define, and then some name, which we often put the names of constants in uppercase, like this. And you might say that the window is 400 pixels wide, and maybe the window is 600 high. And that's two named constants. If we run this program just like this, we don't get any values out because defining a constant doesn't produce a value. But now what I can do is I can write an expression like this. And what happens is when Dr. Racket evaluates this, when it comes to evaluating the name of a defined constant, it's just going to use the constant's value there. So this will become 400. So the evaluation steps here would be times width will become 400. That's the first evaluation step. In the next evaluation step, height will evaluate to 600. At this point, all the arguments to times are values. So now we'd have 240,000. So the way to form a constant definition is to have an open parenthesis, the word define, a space, and then a name. And names typically include letters of the alphabet in upper and lower case. They can also include numerical digits. And in the beginning student language, they can include lots of other characters like exclamation mark and question mark and equals and things like that. Some languages are more restrictive about that, but the beginning student language is fairly generous about that. You can't use parentheses or quotes of any kind, though. The rules for evaluating a constant definition are when Racket encounters the constant definition, it evaluates the expression and uses the resulting value as the value of the named constant going forward. When evaluation encounters a named constant, the named constant simply evaluates to the value that the define associated with it. Let's look at another example. Let me get rid of all this now. Suppose in this same program, in my game program, what we have is the image of a cat going back and forth across the screen. Well, I might want to give a name to that image so that I can use it in lots of places. So there's the cat. And what I'm going to do here is go to the second edition of the How to Design Programs book, which we use as the basis for the material in this course. And they happen to have a little cat here that we're going to use. So I'm just going to go copy this image. And I'll come back over here and I'll just paste it right in here. And what's happening in Racket is remember that images are values and all values are expressions. So I can stick that image right there in the program as an expression. Most languages won't let you do this, but it's quite convenient to be able to do it in BSL, so we're going to take advantage of that. So now I've got a cat, and I can write some expressions. So here, rotate is a primitive, and this says rotate the cat by minus 10 degrees. Here's another expression that would rotate the cat by 10 degrees. If we run this now, we see the first expression produces the cat rotated this way, the second expression produces the cat rotated that way. And we might even want to give names to these, because remember I said that we can have an expression here after the constant name. So now I've given names to those two rotated cats. Oops, I can't use those names. I got to use different names. You can only define a given constant name one time. That's why it's called a constant name. It can't change. So I'll call those the R cat and the L cat. And there they are. So here you see that what Racket is letting us do is say define and a name and then an expression. That expression gets evaluated, and forevermore that value will be associated with the constant name. So we can use it in other places in the program. I have an exercise I'd like to ask you to do now. This will help you test your understanding of the material in this video. So now you've seen how we can define constants in the beginning student language. As I said at the beginning of this video, we're going to see more and more how important this is. Really, this notion of defining name constants is going to have a big effect on making our programs comprehensible to other programmers and easy to change in the future.